I can't believe that Kitchen Nightmares actually aired this episode.
I'm self-taught by old school European.
Have a look at yourself, man.
The way you treat me is crude.
Then you need to find another place to work.
Defensive, ignorant.
If I'm all that, you're my twin. I can cook, Joe.
Hello, you gorgeous donuts. Gordon Ramsay has seen absolutely everything on Kitchen Nightmares, from rotten food to shouting matches to cockroach infestations to more frozen lasagna than you could eat in a lifetime. But there's one specific episode that goes beyond just bad management or bad food or a bad interior. It goes into the realms of insanity. This isn't just the worst restaurant that Gordon Ramsay has stepped into. This is the worst run business in America, owned by a man who his own staff even call him an evil dictator. Welcome to the Mill Street Bistro. This episode was so dramatic that Gordon actually had to separate it into a bumper 2-part episode, both 1 hour long. Do you know how much drama you need to create to have 2 full hours of full-on content? In this video, we're going to cover both of the episodes in their entirety, the dark truth behind why this dysfunctional restaurant is actually failing, how Gordon practically has a full-blown war with the owner for the entire 2 episodes. We're also going to see if Gordon Ramsay can actually turn this place around within 1 week, which is the time frame he's given himself to do so. And at the end of this video, I've got a special treat for you, as we're going to cover what happened when the camera stopped rolling. What happened when Kitchen Nightmares left for good? It's full of lawsuits, rebrands, and a collapse I didn't see coming. I'm so pumped for this. Get comfy and let's get into the first episode. So the episode begins with us meeting the owner of the Mill Street Bistro. He is called Joe Nagy. We learn that Joe lost his job in food sales and then decided to buy a ranch and make a bistro next to the ranch. Joe has always dreamed of having a bistro/restaurant of his own, and he claims that he's been trained by a lot of old school European chefs to master his craft, which I feel like is going to get disproven pretty quickly as we progress through this episode. But straight away you can tell that Joe claims to have very high standards for himself and the restaurant.
The word fine dining is obnoxious if you can't back it up. Guys, verbiage, okay? Bruschetta, Crostini's, you know what that is? But this is their big moment at the bistro.
I love that he asked one of his waiting staff, bruschetta, do you know what that is? Yeah, it's not like you're working a food place or anything. Also, like, saying it's people's big moment that they come to your restaurant, that's pretty main character energy. Like, that's the greatest day of their lives, the day that they eat at the bistro. Awfully bold claim to make early on, Joe, especially when you're in the opening of a Kitchen Nightmares episode.
We didn't get this elk from UPS. It comes from our ranch. That's why our food is the best by far.
Oh, well, I guess we'll all just leave. I tell you what, I'll just stop this video right here because his food's clearly great. There's no problem here. Wonder why Gordon's coming if the food is exceptional, sir. I hope he's coming with a Michelin star, otherwise he can pack his bags. However, the staff dispute Joe's claims of the place being exceptional. They say that he's totally delusional. That was a bar. You think you're exceptional, you're just delusional. 2 seconds, I'm going to write that one down for me drill song coming out soon. You think you're exceptional, you're just delusional. Just delusional.
Joe is in denial.
I would put this restaurant up against anyone because the passion.
Really, we are mediocre at best.
You know it's true when, you know, even one of your own waiting staff is saying that. You know you're pretty delusional at that point because they're not emotionally attached to the business, really. Like, in reality, they're working there because they get paid by you. Her opinion is going to be completely unbiased, so I trust her more.
The steaks come from a wholesale food club.
They turn brown, they start smelling. I'm like, I would not eat that.
Wait, so you've just told us that all of your meat comes from your farm. Now you're saying you're importing it? You bloody liar, Joe. I had faith, Joe Nagy. I had faith. I was going to go to church tonight, but I've lost faith. I've lost it. Now, a delusional owner, I can take that, okay? But one thing that I can't take is when the owner is just completely disrespectful to his staff.
Hey, Joe.
I'm eating right now?
I didn't know. You
Hey,
came out with it before.
Excuse me.
But you were literally speaking to someone else. So why didn't you tell them that you were eating?
When I think about Joe, I think of an arrogant, selfish jerk.
Quit asking all these arbitrary questions.
Oh, so a nice guy then. Right, first on your Christmas card list at Christmas, is he? 1st of November. Let's send one to Joe. First sure he's such a lovely bloke.
Always somebody else's fault.
Your responsibility that the bread doesn't taste stale.
How is it the waiting staff issue to make sure that the bread's not stale? Like, what do you want them to do? Just continuously watch it? Like, what? They get paid to take the food from the kitchen to the customer. That's what they get paid for, not to check if the bread's stale.
The way you treat me is disrespectful, crude.
Then you need to find another place to work.
Now, straight away, you can see that people can't raise their criticisms to Joe without the fear of being sacked, which obviously is just not a healthy working environment. If you're an employee, you should be able to, like, you know, put forth your own ideas to improve the business. And clearly, if people try to do this here, they just get the chop. And also, like, this is him on camera right now on his best behaviour. So imagine what he's like when the cameras aren't there. He'd probably be 10 times worse.
I know that Tommy and me are handsome guys. Don't come back here and stare at us.
What? Did he just call himself a handsome guy and said the girls are staring at him too much? Or was he taking the piss there? I don't really understand. Wait, is this why he thinks that he has women working for him because they fancy him? I'm just put it out. I think that's what he's saying. I'm going to go with that, right? To be fair, who wouldn't want to work for a hunk like Joe Nagy? I mean, count me in. Can I work on my knees, Joe? No, terrible. That's not even funny. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Not only is he rude to the staff, he's also rude to the customers, apparently.
This is super slow, and the big reason people don't come in is because of Joe. He's the one who needs to change his way of thinking, or we're not going to survive.
Well, this place is definitely exceptional, like what Joe said. If multiple people have put a complaint in about you saying they don't come to your restaurant because of you, surely you have to, like, you know, just have a little bit of self-reflection, being like, am I the issue? Possibly. If one person says it, you can just fuck them off, right? I just stay there and prick them. But 4 or 5, you can't use that excuse anymore, man. It's you. You're in every single one of your stories. Despite accepting to be on the show, Joe still insists that his restaurant is not a kitchen nightmare.
We're not a kitchen nightmare when it comes to cleanliness, functionality. Are we a kitchen nightmare because we have no asses in the seats? Yes.
It honestly astounds me every single time we do a Kitchen Nightmares episode how the owners think that they're great. Like, they honestly think Gordon's gonna come and go, honestly, I just don't know why there's no bums in the seats, guys. You're just so amazing. And Joe, you're an absolute hunk. Who wouldn't want to stare at you while they eat? Do they not watch the show? Like, this has been going for 5 seasons at this point. Surely you've seen every single episode where Gordon comes and basically just shouts at every single owner. They never choose a restaurant which is good. Never. Why are you going to be the first one? Like, the ego you must have to think this. Gordon then arrives. However, he doesn't go to the bistro straight away. Joe insists that he shows him around the ranch where they get all the ingredients from that we know to not be true already.
I want Chef Ramsay to critique my restaurant and say, you got something, Joe. That's what I'm looking for.
You got something, Joe. You're coming down with a good case of chlamydia. No. That would be a curveball. I've never seen that on Kitchen Nightmares yet, where, you know, someone gets found out to have an STD. That would be a spanner in the works, I think. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Not really here for that storyline, if I'm being honest. Let's move on. I don't feel like he's going to say that, Joe, but I guess we'll see. And straight away, when he's speaking to Gordon, you can see that he's just bullshit.
I am self-taught by old school Europeans, master chefs that had a liking to me because of my passion.
Yeah. This guy talks in real life like how you talk on a CV. You know, you're just lying about great things about yourself when in reality you're like, none of this is true, I just want the money. Like, what does it mean you've been taught by old school European chefs? Like, you do know you're speaking to, you know, one of the greatest chefs in the world right now. You can't bullshit this guy. I think everybody knows somebody like Joe where they kind of talk about themselves like in such a great positive light, so much like they big themselves out to be the greatest human that ever exists. But in reality, they're just like everybody else, but they don't want to admit that to themselves, like they have to be different. Joe then tells Gordon that the only problem the restaurant has is that they can't put bums in seats, and he insists that none of this is his fault. I'll be the judge of that, thank you very much, Joe. He then shows Gordon all of the animals that he has individually, and there's one specific animal that he just seems a bit too close to.
He's jealous. Yeah. Me and you talking. I'll be 2 minutes, Skinny, okay?
Now, before this clip, he was proper, like, hugging this animal, and, like, he was just, you know, kind of doing stuff that I probably wouldn't do with an animal, you know, putting a finger up its butt. He wasn't doing that, that's too far. It's not even funny. It's animal abuse, actually, Cam, so probably wouldn't say that joke. 2 horny buggers there, in 2 very different ways. Gordon then leaves the ranch, and you can tell that Joe thinks they're best mates at this point.
What excites me is when I see a man this motivated to put all this effort into food.
in your local bistro.
Now, when I was looking at Joe's face there, just observing him, like, he looked in awe of Gordon complimenting him, and straight away I feel like all Joe wants is a little bit of, like, admiration for what he's managed to do here. Like, he's managed to get a ranch and also, like, have his own bistro after being sacked. I think he just kind of wants recognition for that. However, I feel like the relationship between him and Gordon is just gonna go downhill from here. I don't even know if they're gonna be speaking by the end of the first episode, never mind the second. Gordon then arrives at the restaurant and one of the waitresses sits him down and instantly he's critiquing things.
What's the name tag for?
We've always had this since we opened.
We're not a chain, are we?
We are not.
No. Could you take it off?
Of course.
Please.
Yay!
That's so true, actually. That's like such a good spot from Gordon. Like, they aren't a chain. They say they're fine dining. Like, in a Michelin star restaurant or something like that, you wouldn't have people with name tags on. I'm not necessarily saying it's like a bad thing they've got name tags on, but I feel like it does cheapen it if you're trying to, you know, go for the whole posh route. Gordon then asks for Amy's opinion on why she thinks that the restaurant is failing, and she says it's because Joe is a complete bellend. And he treats both the customers and the staff horrifically. So that's a second person that's saying that now. There's a little bit of a trend forming here, I'm afraid. I don't know where this is coming from, right? That's getting a lot of action today. Gordon then orders a selection of food from the menu and puts Joe and the staff to work, and Joe is convinced that Gordon is going to love the food.
We do things with passion, with integrity.
I love the way that he says passion. Like, listen to this.
We do things with passion, with integrity.
With passion? Oh! What? This guy could do the voiceover of an M&S advert. The guy's got a soothing voice, man. It's the way he hits the P. I've never seen someone hit the P so hard. What am I saying? I don't know. Stick with us, guys. Stick with us. I'll get there. Just work with us a little bit here.
Food here at the bistro is the freshest, hands down.
We've literally seen that you freeze everything. Have you never seen a Kitchen Nightmares episode? Do you not know he's gonna find out? Everything's recorded. Why would you lie? You're lying in 4K, fella. Well, probably 1080p. I mean, this is in 2012, so, you know, probably 1080p. But still, it's not the point. You can't say everything's fresh when the freezer's full. Do you honestly think Gordon is gonna be like, yeah, mate, your food's mint? Honestly, every single person in this town is a numpty for not coming here. I genuinely think that is what Joe thinks Gordon is going to say. I'm not even joking here. Gordon then asks Bill, who's another server at the restaurant, for his opinion on why he thinks the restaurant is failing, just so he can get like a clear idea here.
We make no effort whatsoever to market to the locals, and Joe believes the restaurant's a little above the local area.
16,000 locals on your doorstep. Why would you ignore them?
Why would you put a restaurant in an area where you think the restaurant is above everybody? Make it make sense. Like, what are you doing here? Just to make people feel bad? Do you want people to walk past and just feel like inferior to it? That doesn't help you, right? Well, I mean, it helps your ego, but it doesn't actually help your back pocket. I'm too pretty to be in this city. Everyone else just doesn't get it. No one's on my level. One thing I will give Joe is he is definitely his own biggest fan. Gordon then gathers all of the staff one by one to remove all of their name tags, which is a bit of a funny moment, and everyone's buzzing about it. It does make sense though. Like, are we working at McDonald's here? Like, why are you doing this in a fine dining restaurant? They then start serving the dishes to Gordon, and instantly he absolutely loves them, surprisingly.
What happened here?
That is a parsley infused oil.
And he squirts that on top? Right.
I'll check on you in a moment.
Thanks, darling.
Of course he didn't love the food, of course not. How'd you going though? Right, I had you in the first moment there. That's a great review, that, isn't it? So, what happened here? Is this what it looked like when it came out the kitchen? Sorry, did somebody just, like, you know, do a 1-2 to it on the way out? Somebody just drop an atomic bomb on this? Was Oppenheimer here? Amy then refers this information back to Joe, and Joe is, like, really annoyed that Gordon has sent this feedback to him, so he goes to confront him himself. However, when Gordon stands on business with his opinion, Joe kind of just stands there with his tail between his legs. And whilst Joe's cooking Gordon's next dish, Gordon and the rest of the staff are just pissing themselves at how they have to serve the chocolate cake to customers.
Do you want me to sing too?
Yeah.
Stop long rest of the cake.
You just know that Joe's watching this like... I wouldn't be surprised if Joe is currently cooking a large onion soup to drown Gordon in. You can pretty much tell at this point that after Gordon has gathered a lot of information about Joe from his staff, he's figured out that Joe is a bit of a bully. And it seems like Gordon is going to adopt the tactic of like bullying the bully.
Micro carrots.
Oh, micro carrots. Do you not think you should let it grow a bit?
I don't think they're there to be really eaten. They're more for a garnish. Just to add some color.
Yeah, you absolute idiot, Gordon. You never heard of garnish before. You never heard of a little parsley number. Have you not? Oh, you call yourself a chef, do you? You not got them little tubs from Lidl that you can get, no? Never heard of them, have you? Oh, some chef you absolute plank of wood.
Can I give those back to you?
I don't personally want them myself, but you can take them back to the kitchen.
Oh. No, I personally didn't want them. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Amy.
He's trying to like belittle him as much as possible here because he's clearly observed Joe belittling his staff, and I'm here for it. Like normally I'd be like, wow, he's been very disrespectful, but when someone has been disrespectful to other people, it's kind of nice to see it happen to them, just so they know how it feels. I do hope later in this saga that they do get on, but at this point I can't see it happening because Joe is just fuming being in the presence of Gordon right now.
I have staff here that'll take care of that. You don't hand me raw food in my dining room.
But then you're saying your staff are beneath you. Do you not get what you're saying right here? Like, what do you mean they can't hand you raw food? It was a micro carrot. Surely you've got experience holding things that size. Oh. All right. Okay, now the party started. That was a good one. Don't worry, Joe, so do I. A lot of experience.
Those same carrots go to the White House. Those same carrots go to the 5 Seasons. They go global.
Do they? How do you know this? Oh, Mr. Donald Trump, your order of micro carrots have arrived. Straight from Joe Nagy. Do you want them now? Yeah, right, we'll bring them in. They go to the White House, yet nobody in your town wants them.
You're gonna hand the owner the little petite carrots? He's in the wrong place.
Why is he losing his mind over Gordon just handing him these tiny carrots? I don't understand why this is so disrespectful to him. They're carrots. Just put them in the bin. You're saying they're on there to be posh, so surely if they get handed to you, that's a delicacy Gordon's handing you right now. You should be on it. Although I do kind of see it from his perspective because Gordon definitely was trying to talk down to him whilst he was doing it. So I do feel like he is warranted in being a little bit angry here because the overall tone was very condescending from Gordon, but rightly so. Gordon then gets another dish but has to send it back because it's completely raw. It's fucking raw!
Show that to him.
I sure will.
Yeah, thank you, my darling.
You're welcome.
Uncrew my ass.
I mean, I wouldn't be laughing if I was you, right? You're eating here. You're paying for a meal here. At least he's getting them for free. You've literally decided to sit down here and eat the food. I think you're in the shit as much as what Joe is right now. At least Joe doesn't have to eat the food. It always makes us laugh when people are already in the restaurant when Gordon arrives, because you would honestly be like, oh, no. 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 It must be such a horrific feeling seeing Gordon Ramsay enter a restaurant with the production team whilst you're in. Oh, stop. Wouldn't wish that on me worst enemy. Gordon tries about 9 or 10 different dishes and every single one is inedible and he sends every single one back. He doesn't even like anything about any of them, and he's figured out that none of the food is actually fresh. Like what Joe claims, it's all actually frozen, which we saw in the intro. And Joe refuses to take any accountability for the criticism from Gordon.
So these are ice cold.
They were hot when they went out.
It took me 10 seconds to get from here to there.
Well, you must have some cold breath then, love. Right, can you stop breathing on everything? Like, oh my God, you're always like this. Always like this, making food cold with your fucking cold breath. You're so cold, Amy.
I guess we could cook them till they're totally piping hot.
I think they should be.
Surely you should be doing that anyway. Right? Like, who cooks food until it's like lukewarm? Like, one of the best sights is when you see your food coming out and it's got like little bits of smoke off it, like steam, because you know that it's like completely just being took off the grill.
Said it all tastes frozen. This is how they fucking do it in Ohio. If you did it any other way, they wouldn't eat it in Ohio.
They don't eat it now! What do you mean this is the only way to do it? Nobody's coming to eat it! So surely changing it up or listening to Gordon might actually help a little bit. Not like you're losing out. You've got more staff than customers, man. I don't know if Joe is going to turn this restaurant around. If he did want to turn this restaurant around very quickly, there is a certain product that I think he should stock. We call it Holy. Are you tired of traditional sugar-packed energy drinks? I know I am. Causing you to crash shortly after having them and also just making you feel shitty in general? Well, I have got the solution to your issue, my friend. It's Holy. Holy is a clean alternative to traditional sugar-packed energy energy drinks. They do a range of powder-based soft drinks, including energy drinks, iced tea, and hydration products, all with zero sugar. Zero bullshit, all made with natural flavours. That's what I'm talking about. My personal favourite drink that Holy does is the sour cherry hydration drink. Honestly, that is banging. I'm not even just saying that. It genuinely is. It's unreal. When I wake up, I'm always like severely dehydrated, especially right now when it's really hot, because obviously like you sweat out a lot of fluids in the night. I know it sounds gross, but it's true. And with Holy's hydration drinks, like the sour cherry one, they have a lot of electrolytes in, which basically just replenishes all your fluids and makes you hydrated and just makes you feel better on a morning drinking it. If you're ordering from Holy for the first time, I would recommend the Starter Set Deluxe. This includes sample flavours of energy, iced tea, and hydration. You also get to choose between the metal thermo shaker or just the black shaker, whatever you prefer. To be fair, this one is actually really cool. Like, I actually love the colouring on this one. But this one's kind of stealth. Like, just never let them know your next move if you've got this one, okay? Getting the Starter Set Deluxe allows you to try all of the flavours and see which one you fancy ordering more of in a tub format. But if you did want to get a tub as well, it's really good value for money. I believe you get over 50 servings and it's like 80p a serving, which is obviously a lot cheaper than the energy drinks in shops. But again, I feel like getting the Starter Set Deluxe is probably the best option if it is your first time. And if you want a discount on it, you can use my code. Of course you can. You can use CAM5 for a £5 discount on your first order, or use code CAM for just 10% off in general if you want to make a bigger order. There's also a link in the description and in the pinned comment of this video that will take you straight there to do your order. But genuinely, I wouldn't recommend this product if I didn't think it was mint, and I actually do think it's mint. So if you want to get it, use my code, click the link in the description, and then you'll be a lot more hydrated, my friends. There's one dish that Gordon tries, which is elk medallion, which Joe charges $35 for, like just for that one little meal, and it's completely inedible. Gordon even gets Amy, the waitress, to try it, and she can't believe how bad it is.
Dead wrong. Elk is going to have a bite. It's going to have a chew. That is a tender piece of elk.
You're speaking to Gordon Ramsay here. Why would you argue with his... Like, he's a master at one thing, and that is cooking food. No matter how good you are, you probably don't know as much as him. So surely, you just shut up and listen.
I'm going to challenge him. I'm going to say, you know what? At my expense, I'm going to go to your fucking restaurant and you make me elk and you show me how to make it.
I guarantee Gordon Ramsay can cook elk better than this guy. Also, I've never seen elk mentioned more in one single episode since like the last time I watched a Joe Rogan podcast like 5 years ago. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy is sleeping with the elks at night. Also, because all of the meat seems to be frozen and possibly imported, like I don't actually think he's using any of the meat from the ranch. And that's probably because he actually seems like he's quite like emotionally attached to the animals. Like he seems very close to the animals, which obviously is a good thing, but it's going to make it harder to, you know, eventually slaughter them when, you know, you bring them to the restaurant. So that's why I think he's probably just imported it, because he doesn't actually want to part ways with these animals, which, if true, shows that, you know, there is some goodness in Joe. He does have love in his heart somewhere. Amy then has to relay all of this information that Joe has just given her back to Gordon, and you can tell that she's just so embarrassed doing so. Gordon then decides to leave the restaurant to find somewhere to eat, which is the best insult ever. Sorry, I'm just leaving your restaurant. I need to find somewhere to eat. That is so cold. He's heading down the road to the local cafe and says that he'll be back for the evening service, in which he will be confronting Joe.
I wonder where he's going to go get something to eat that's so great. Good luck. Go find something better.
The one thing I love with like certain Americans like this guy, they don't understand like his sarcasm. Like he probably isn't going somewhere to, you know, eat, but he's just said that just because he knows that Joe's gonna bite, and oh my god, he bit more than you have to eat that elk. I'm gonna leave the restaurant to find somewhere to eat. Why is that I tickled us, man? That's so funny. Gordon then returns to the restaurant, and the funniest thing ever is seeing the staff like kind of hide behind the wall ready for what's about to come.
Where's Joe?
He is ready to give his word.
Where's Joe? Over there. Look at the snitches, man. straight away than throw him to the lions. I would too, to be fair. Like, imagine you've worked at this place for years and the boss every single day is just a dick to you. And one day, by the grace of the gods, Gordon Ramsay turns up to bully him. I've waited my whole life for this moment. He's over there. He's over there. Do you want his coordinates? I've wrote them down. He then confronts Joe about the food that was served to him early on, and this leads to one of the wildest interactions I've ever seen in Kitchen Nightmares' history.
I've never had anybody in my career critique my items, told me every one of them was a piece of shit, and they had to go down the street to eat.
Yeah, it's a very specific complaint, that one. I have to go down the street to eat. Also, to get criticism, Joe, you actually need people in your restaurant.
Can I just give you an insight to my lunch?
Sure, since you've asked me, now you can go ahead.
That's very kind of you.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate the permission to speak, Joe. You're so kind. This is so funny because you can tell Joe is trying to, like, convince himself that he's in control of this conversation, when in reality, this is just not going to go well for him.
Out of those 3 fish, which one was fresh? How many of those
I'll
came
answer
today?
you.
You think your fish is fresh?
Does it fucking say fresh fish?
Oh, all right, okay, right. It says it on the board, so, you know, the board of truth over here. The board never lies, Gordon. Are you questioning the board? Oh, I wouldn't if I was you. Not the board with chalk on it. I wouldn't, Gordon. Your days are numbered, son. Numbered. Just because you've wrote it down doesn't mean it's truth. Watch, right? Just gonna write down on here, Cam has lovely big biceps. Nothing. Nothing.
Catch of the day. What does catch of the day mean?
They were all IQF frozen.
IQF,
individually, quickly frozen.
But it's catch of the day. Of the day. Why would you freeze something if you've literally just got it in today?
When did that come off the boat?
4 days ago.
So you haven't got any in your freezer?
Pardon?
Well, then it's catch of 4 days ago, not catch of today or the day. It's catch of the day 4 days ago. Why is that not on the board of truth? Catch of the day from 4 days ago. Read the small print. Bloody hell.
You haven't got any in your freezer?
Fresh fish?
Have you got it in
He's just kind of delaying this because he knows he's got fish in his freezer, but he doesn't quite know what to come up with now, so he's kind of just giving himself a couple of extra seconds to come up with an excuse.
What were you thinking putting that in a quesadilla?
I got the balls to make what I feel that might work.
True that. Gordon, I don't see you doing elk quesadillas in any of your restaurants. Just saying. I feel like Joe's pulling it back here. He's calling your balls out. How big's your balls, Gordon? How much testosterone is in them fuckers? Clearly not as much as Joe's. Men used to go to war. Now they just put elk in quesadillas, and apparently that makes them tough.
Oh.
I have been eating elk for 30 years. Do you have it on your menu?
Seasonally.
You explain to me what the game season is.
So it's when
Also, just because you've like been eating something for that many years doesn't mean that you're the best cook of it. Like, honestly, I love Big Macs. If I try to cook one, it's not gonna happen. Not gonna end well for whoever's got to eat that.
You explain to me what the game season is.
So it's when
Okay,
game is
okay.
at its absolute best.
This is back in Scotland?
New York.
New York.
Yeah, New York.
Try to belittle them there by going, what, in tiny Scotland, that's how you do it. Oh no, just, you know, just New York. Just little New York, you know, bit more famous than Ohio. Probably, have you heard of it? New York, you know, the big skyscraper. Yeah. Like, he's not getting any W's here in this argument. Like, he's not getting any one-ups. Come on, Joe. Joe even starts lying about not saying things that he's literally been caught on camera saying to Gordon.
You told me you trained with the best chefs in Europe.
I didn't fucking tell you that.
I'm self-taught by master chefs that had a liking to me.
Oh, this is just really, really, really sad. Like, I actually just feel bad for him at this point. I'm not even enjoying this anymore. Because clearly this guy just feeds himself so many lies that he's actually, like, believed the lies because he's told them to himself so many times. He's like, I've never been to fucking Europe. Me? Oh, yeah, when I trained with, like, Marco P. White and that, and he said I was the best chef he'd ever seen. Oh, that time, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that. Oh, what, when Heston Blumenthal said that I was an absolute genius? Yeah, sorry, that one slipped my mind, sorry, yeah. Trying to figure out Joe's mind, I honestly think that he really likes cooking food. Like, I do think it's probably his passion to be a chef. However, he's never really dedicated the time to learn how to be good at it, and I feel like now he's just getting kind of figured out. Because you can bullshit people that don't know that much about the profession that you're talking about because they know less than you. But when somebody who knows everything about this profession comes, you just get exposed straight away because you don't actually have any knowledge on this thing. And from this point, the conversation just gets worse and worse somehow.
So you're the head chef. You write the menus. You dictate the special features. You're not a fine dining bistro. You're a small man with a fake bistro. Shooting way above your...
He's destroying it. Stop it. He's already dead. Stop. That man is dead. You're a small man with a fake bistro. That's one for the Tinder bio. Joe Nagy, small man with a fake bistro. Don't all swipe right, ladies.
I've never come across a bistro anywhere in the world.
In the
with
world?
Nata. In the world.
In the world? We'll
Dude,
research that.
You are so fucking arrogant.
We'll research that. Can we get a fact check on that one? Jamie, pull that one up.
You have a gifted young group of servers that told me more problems and issues in the first 20 minutes of meeting them than you have done all fucking day.
You just know the staff have waited their entire lives for this moment. It must, like, I would love to feel what they're feeling in this exact moment because they're all just so miserable working for this guy. Clearly, he drives the complete life out of them on a daily basis.
Petite micro carrots that was
It's not just about the carrots.
You're busting my balls.
Because you're in fucking denial.
This guy's just using all of the stereotypical just American phrases. Hey, man, stop busting my fucking balls, man. There were some carrots. Donald Trump likes them, man. By the way, this must be a mint show for Gordon Ramsay to do. Do you know if you're just stressed, you can just be like, oh, should we just do another season of Kitchen Nightmares so I can just scream at people? That'll solve it. That'll help us out.
Defensive, ignorant, and in complete
And guess
denial.
what? If I'm all that, you're my twin.
What? Just Uno reverse carded him there. Honestly, I didn't see that coming. He went, what? Okay, there we go. You're my twin then. Well, if I'm all there, then you're my twin. What? Did he just say that? This guy's so good. No matter what we do, we can't break him. Just throwing the Uno reverse mid-conversation.
Because I've been called you here many a times. So let's get over the bullshit.
I can cook, Joe.
Why did I think he was going to kiss him there? It was like, I've been called you many times. Oh, have you? Sorry, I shouldn't have. That probably made you feel very uncomfortable, didn't it? Apologies, guys. Yeah. I'll take that one on the chin. Also, I guarantee nobody has went into this restaurant and went, oh my God, like, is this guy as good as Gordon Ramsay? These elk medallions are so chewy. What the hell?
Have a look at yourself, man.
People seem to enjoy it.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Genuinely, like, one of them could have thrown a dig at the other one and I wouldn't have been surprised there. That was genuinely so intense. I just can't see Joe listening to Gordon because just to his core, he seems like somebody that is really insecure and he just seems like nobody else's opinion really matters in his life but his own, which obviously is just one of the worst traits to have because then you just don't, like, nobody wants to be around you because you're just so kind of self-obsessed with yourself. As you saw, Gordon then leaves the restaurant and Joe has absolutely lost his head.
I know more about fucking elk and buffalo and beef than he'll ever know.
Can we just fact check this? Does Joe actually know what elk is? Like, he hasn't really mentioned it that much in this episode. Like, sorry, elk did you say there, Joe? Just you haven't mentioned that one yet. Stop mentioning fucking elk! Okay, we get it. You eat elk. Right, there you go. Do you want your medal?
He does not know what I know about buffalo. And I'm supposed to take this that my food is garbage and I'm a fraud?
Why isn't he asking the opinions of his staff? Like being like, oh, so what did you think about that conversation? Did you think I was in the wrong at any point there? Was I in the right? Like, just having a conversation. It's almost like he just wants people to talk at, not with. Like, he doesn't care about anyone else's opinion here. The fact that he's shouting at his staff, whilst there's also customers waiting to be served, they're going to hear all of this. Look at this. They're like, what the fuck?
How many times did you have elk come back since you've been here, Bex? Jen? Kaylee? Speak up.
They're petrified.
Get your shit together. That's what this is about.
Yeah, customers out here.
I appreciate what you're doing.
No. That right there shows exactly what type of man this person is. He's the type of person that is really nice, like outdoors, like talking to new people. He might seem quite friendly, but behind the scenes, he's actually like quite a horrible person. The fact he just switched up like that as soon as he knew that people were kind of listening, that is so scary. These are all a bunch of arseholes. Oh, honestly, like, I just love you guys. What? Are we a family? We're a family, aren't we? If I walked into a restaurant and I heard the owner speaking to the staff like that, I'm just walking straight out. Like, you're not getting my business.
My apologies of how much you heard.
My apologies for our owner. Don't worry about him. He's a bit of a dick. Yeah. The thing about Joe is he just can't get over that he doesn't know how to cook elk. Like, he's obsessed with being the best person to cook elk in the world.
This is some of the finest fucking elk you can get.
Oh, mate.
Ramsay called it garbage.
Enough with the elk, man. We get it. You eat elk. Fucking hell.
We're supposed to wait to serve it when the grass is a certain height back over in Scotland.
Check crack. This not really hitting Joe. I know you're trying to kind of like compete with Gordon with the one-liners here. You're competing with a seasoned veteran here. It's like me going up against Roger Federer in tennis. There's only going to be one victor. Just quickly, Donuts, we are on the quest to reach 1 million subscribers on this channel. We're closer to 1 million than we are to 0. So if you want to be in the before 1 million subscribers Donuts Club, press subscribe now. And then you've always got that to say to people, right? You can be like, I subscribe to them before 1 million. If we do hit it, that would be pretty cool. Okay, so join the community, press subscribe, would love to have you. Gordon then returns to observe the evening service, and straight away it starts off with people arguing.
Tom, can you check cream of asparagus? Is it pure vegetarian?
Leave the kitchen, go over the other side.
Joe gets mad if anybody's saying anything to the kitchen.
She literally was just confirming that one of the dishes was vegetarian, I believe. Like, that is a very important thing that she's just done there. Surely you want this communication. Like, what, do you want her to just not ask and then you just serve the food and just hope that it is? Gordon then discovers the reason why Joe was so angry that the waitress was speaking in the kitchen is because there's a no speaking policy in this kitchen.
Come, except for quiet. You're not allowed to talk? Neighbours complaining?
No, it's supposed to be any unnecessary chatter in the kitchen.
So no chatter?
Right.
So how do you communicate?
Like, why? But that doesn't, like, affect anything negatively. Is it because of the elk? Does the elk need to be, like, cooked in silence? Otherwise it starts getting a little bit aggy? Starts coming back to life and breathing and shit if it can sense a bit of life in the room? If there's one thing about a restaurant, it's like everybody is talking, everyone's communicating, so everyone knows where everyone is on their station.
So we got a job to do, mediocre as we are. People just, they want to talk about something, just take it out there.
So what happens if I need to ask you, like, a question about the food? Do I need to be like, Joe, can you come here? Can you come outside? Yeah. How long you got left on that elk? You still got about 5 minutes, have you? Right, great, that's all right then. Come here. Gordon then starts going around the kitchen and, like, kind of tapping people and whispering to them.
You okay? You okay?
Oh, I'm fine.
Jesus Christ, don't shout.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, he said, I'm sorry. Oh, no. He seemed really nice. He wasn't even shouting, bless him. You know that this restaurant must be in complete silence because he just whispered and we went, fucking hell. Oi, what? Okay, sorry, yeah.
We can't talk, but you okay? Yeah, thanks. Let me know. Give me a sign.
The longer this episode's going on, the more Gordon is just trying to subtly piss off Joe. You're going to see later in this saga how they both come to blows even worse than before because of this. Just wait. Now, despite not being able to speak, food is actually leaving the restaurant relatively fast. However, it is returning at the same speed.
It's kind of gross.
It just doesn't taste good.
Let me get it out of your way. Is there something else we could get for you?
No.
Sorry about that.
To describe the food in a restaurant as gross, like, it's gotta be pretty bad. Also, like, no matter how much I didn't like the food in a restaurant, I'm not sending it back. Like, I love that people have the confidence to do this, but even if I find it, like, gross, I'm still just polishing it off. I'll just probably just leaving it. I just feel too bad. I feel too awkward. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I'm, like, I guess Gen Z. I think everyone's just a bit awkward with confrontation. I just couldn't, like, tell the waiter that I didn't like it. That would just cripple us. I rate it though, telling them, just speaking your mind, as long as you're not being a prick about it.
I think it's overpowering. The beer doesn't work and it's too strong.
Hey, we're past that.
Passion fruit, mate. That's the closest you'll get to passion.
Gordon is an absolute menace. A Dennis the Menace, if you will. He's just prodding him. It's like he's just constantly poking him in the back of the neck. Passion, more like passion fruit, you prick. Again, it is kind of disrespectful the way that he's speaking to Joe, and if Joe reacts, like, he's probably well within his right to, you know, kind of fire back. But the reason why Gordon is doing this is because Joe for so many years has bullied his staff. So I think the reasoning behind it is kind of to drill home that it's not nice to be spoken to this way. But yeah, if I was Joe, I would be like, if someone was speaking to us like this. Things go from bad to worse when a customer actually finds something off the ground in their meal.
You got a pebble in your ravioli, a rock. Yeah. An actual rock. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a rock.
I will take this.
Sorry, Dwayne Johnson's too big to fit on that plate, love. Terrible. Why? You know what? I had it in my head. I went, don't say that. Still said it. But like an actual rock. How does How does that happen? Like, when you're plating it up, do you go, all right, yeah, the ravioli, right, the sauce, yeah, the garnish, the rock. Just put that in there. You can't have ravioli without a rock. Come on. This is fine dining we're talking about here. Also a little bit of elk on top of the rock. Everything's got to have elk in, of course.
Joe, ladies bought in ravioli. Like a rock in there.
That doesn't happen here, but it happened now.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joe. That doesn't happen here, but it's happened now. Well, I'm glad, we've got the narrator of the show with us. Glad we're all up to speed because of that. Whilst Gordon is in the kitchen helping out, he actually gets a phone call from a previous employee who used to work for Joe. He meets her behind the restaurant and they kind of talk about her experience working here at the bistro. She basically says that she was just getting the wage of being a waitress, however she was having to do so much stuff and she wasn't appreciated. Like, Joe would often tell her off for doing certain things wrong when the job she was doing, she wasn't even being paid for that role. She also shows Gordon loads of photos she took before I left of all of the food being frozen when it's meant to be fresh. She got this evidence before she left so that she could be a whistleblower for this. This is incredible. After obtaining this information, Gordon then goes down to the storage and finds all of the food that they use in the restaurant is actually frozen. He's actually saw it with his own eyes now. It's proper disgusting as well. Some of the meat has been frozen for over 5 years and is 4 years out of date, which they would serve that to customers if a customer ordered that dish. It's just disgusting. Honestly, if I went to this restaurant, my IBS genuinely would just be on full alert. They'd have to put a warning out to everyone in my street. The Richter scale would have to be informed. That was just, sorry if you're eating, guys. God. Oh, you could have died without knowing that information. But a problem shares a problem halved. Hopefully, we'll find out. Sorry. Gordon then confronts Joe for lying about everything being fresh when he's literally seen with his own eyes that it's not. And you can tell he's pretty much ready to just quit this episode and quit the restaurant because he's just sick of being lied to.
I'm struggling here to stay in this building right now. I swear to God.
Gordon, I gotta cook right now.
It must be tough because, you're really actually trying to help this restaurant out. You're trying to help the guy in front of you, but the guy in front of you is just constantly lying to you. It would make you go, you know what, just stuff this. If you're not actually going to try and help us out here, if you're just going to constantly lie to us, what's the point in me even trying to help you? Because I don't even like you. And the end of this first episode actually ends on a cliffhanger where Gordon basically asks Joe, look, do you actually want me to be here? If you say no, I will leave right now. Now, obviously, at the time, this show was coming out weekly, so people would have had to have waited for a week to see what would happen here because obviously this episode has so much drama that it's had to be separated into two. Do you know how bad you need to be for that to happen? Now, I have heard that the second part of the Millhouse Bistro is actually so much worse than the first part, so just brace yourselves. Let's see if Gordon can actually turn this around in this episode. I am not confident. Now, episode 2 begins with us straight away following up from episode 1 where Joe answers the question from Gordon where he gave him the ultimatum if he's gonna leave or not.
You want me out of here? I'm gonna leave.
I don't want you out of here.
So why are you fucking around like this?
I'm not fucking around like that.
Honestly, I don't feel like that's surprising. I feel like Joe really does want Gordon's help, but he just can't put his ego to the side that Gordon might know a little bit more about restaurants than him. He just can't do it.
Everything I said today, you went up against.
Well, you said it in a way that anybody would challenge you.
You're even proving his point right now. He's just said, everything I say to you, you have to have a comeback for it, and you've just done the exact same thing. Again, I do get it from Joe's point of view, the way Gordon speaks to him, he is right. A lot of people would, stand up for themselves, but it's the reasoning why Gordon is speaking to him is why he doesn't really ever like to stand on here.
There's not one person in this building that you pay that will ever criticise you.
This conversation ends up getting so heated that both Gordon and Joe have to go into a private room to talk.
Do you usually go to restaurants and rip them apart like that?
Joe, it's not working. You've built up this level of fucking fine dining pretentiousness that is not biting with the locals.
And by the way, yes, this is what Kitchen Nightmares is. Gordon comes, he shouts a bit, he fixes everything, he leaves. This is the concept of this show. We're 5 seasons in, Joe. Surely you've seen one episode.
So you don't want to hear what our elk sales are and how many people come back for it.
He's still going on about the fucking elk. Are we still talking about the elk after all this time? Stop For the love of God, saying the word elk. I can't take it anymore.
You've been
Defensive,
defensive.
everybody. No, I wasn't defensive. I was respectful.
At this point in the conversation, they're just butting heads so much and they're just not moving forward. Like, we're just getting nowhere here. I think they're standing here for about 20 minutes before Gordon actually makes some progress with Joe, as they end up agreeing for the first time since Gordon arrived.
You're so tight and so bound up with the ambition, you're not seeing the reality of the problem.
I agree with that statement.
That is the first time that he said he's agreed with Gordon for what we're 42 minutes in.
I want this restaurant to be a quality restaurant for these people in here that stuck with me and did put up with my personality.
Genuinely, that is the realest that he's been in this entire episode, or 2 episodes. That's the first time that we've actually seen who he is behind his ego, like where he's actually begging Gordon for help, and he's actually said, look, I've been a bit of a prick, I'm realising this now, but can you please just help us turn this around? This is what we've wanted, Joe. Why couldn't you have said this in the first episode? Are we convinced that Joe is actually going to change who he is because of this conversation? I don't know if I'm convinced. I feel like he might just be saying things to Gordon that Gordon wants to hear because he's got the fear of Gordon possibly leaving without actually helping him at this point. After this conversation, Gordon then decides to sit Joe in front of a television screen, and he's going to be going downstairs with all of Joe's staff and asking them what the worst part about the restaurant is, the worst part about Joe, and Joe's going to be listening live. Now already it's kind of mad that he's got to set this up in this scenario because his staff are so petrified of saying anything to Joe's face and, you know, in case they get sacked. So he's had to hide the fact that Joe's going to be listening. Now, like I've just said, the staff don't know that Joe is going to be listening. However, when Gordon asks for someone to go first and voice their opinion, nobody volunteers, and obviously that could be because they're just nervous to be on camera and speak, but I actually think it's because nobody wants to be the first person to criticise Joe in case they lose their job. Like, this is a dictatorship. This is not a team working together to make the restaurant a success. But eventually Gordon just starts picking on people, and what they reveal is actually just wild.
He berates the staff in front of the customers. It turns people off and turns people away.
And I mean, everybody witnessed it, and my table was so disgusted they just wanted their check to leave.
Like, imagine being in a restaurant and witnessing that happen. You would be horrified.
They left me a note telling me to keep my chin up and that I did a great job. And I had left that note to Joe, and he would tell me, don't let that get to your head when people tell you you're doing great, because there's always mistakes being made.
Sorry? Usually you use that if, like, someone is getting a lot of criticism. You'd be like, oh, like, don't listen to other people's opinions, you know? Like, if they're just being horrible, don't take it on board. No, Joe uses that for, like, positive reinforcement. If someone's saying you're really good, don't believe that. They're just trying to tear you down, actually. They're trying to get in your head, psych you out. Don't listen to them. Know that at all times, you are useless and terrible. That's why you're here. So this does give us an insight into Joe's mentality, though. Like, clearly he's very bitter. Clearly he doesn't want anybody to really succeed higher than him. He kind of wants to keep everyone's confidence low enough that they still work for Joe, but not low enough where they're just terrible at their job.
He loves to hear the praise, but he will certainly go up against anybody that has anything negative to say.
Wait, so he loves praise, but he doesn't like when other people get praised and not him. So if someone said he's great, he's like, yeah, I'll take all this on board. But he said to the waitress that she's not allowed to. Like, what kind of a democracy is this?
If they see Joe's vehicle outside, they'll go somewhere else because they don't want to be bothered at their table.
This guy's like the Penguin in Gotham. People see him and they're like, cross the road. They're like, oh, I don't want to deal with him today.
He'll talk and talk and talk to the table the entire time they're here.
Oh my God, that would be the worst. Like, you know, going out for a meal, especially with your partner, it might be something you only get to do like once every few months. Like, you know, treating yourselves. You want to spend some quality time together. You just might have kids. This is you kind of dating each other again. And then you just get this guy just boasting about how he's been taught by old school European chefs how to cook the entire night. It would just ruin the entire night for you. It's like nobody wants to hear about you when they're coming out to eat. They pay you for a service. Just provide the service.
We're told to give him a minute. When it's our table, we're trying to service them and trying to do our job, and then we get yelled at and ridiculed.
But I think it definitely feeds into what I was kind of saying about Joe earlier in this video. I think he just wants validation from anyone, even if they're a complete stranger. Like, if a complete stranger stranger thinks that he's a good guy, he'll kind of really love that and it'll like fill him with a lot of pride, which is fine, you know, like that doesn't have to be a negative trait, but when you base your entire happiness on it, then it becomes toxic.
He yelled at me saying, when I am with the table, we are in a meeting.
Rebecca, what's he holding a meeting over? What's he talking about?
Himself.
We're actually talking about elk, so can you butt out, Rebecca? You don't know the first thing about elk, okay?
It's hard because we want to see this restaurant succeed. We can't take it, the stress. I mean...
How many of you thought about quitting at any one time?
Okay, maybe it's a better question. How many of you have not considered quitting? Anyone? No? Oh, okay, right. At least we all know where we stand then. They then all start talking over each other about like the worst things about Joe, and Gordon has to kind of stop them and be like, okay. And then he actually reveals that Joe has been listening the entire time and he brings Joe out with him. And just looking at the reactions on the staff faces, it's almost like they can see their job slipping from their eyes.
Joe has been listening.
They're like, oh no, please, no, come on, just delete. Oh no, you're joking. I definitely think there was a couple of people that knew, like they would have knew that, you know, Joe was listening, because a couple of people were quiet. They were like, I'm just not going to risk anything. Oh. But in reality, they should be able to voice these opinions to Joe's face. They shouldn't have to do it like being promised that Joe isn't listening. It's just so toxic.
I hope he understands the negativity he's brought on your shoulders.
I'm sure he will. You know, he has a track record of being really understanding and empathetic, our Joe. He'll probably take this great. Just quickly, by the way, Donut, if you don't mind dropping a like on this video, it apparently helps us out, and, you know, it only takes a couple of seconds. I would really appreciate it. Joe actually takes this surprisingly well. However, he still is kind of eradicating some responsibility for what everyone said.
I was sitting upstairs listening, and I gotta say that what has happened here ultimately is my responsibility and my fault.
Okay, that's good.
A lot of things need to change. And if that means that I need to change, and you need to change, and we all need to change, we're gonna do it.
I think it's just you that needs to change, Joe. The staff are fine. They're doing, you know, the Lord's work. They're doing miracle work right now. It's you. Nobody has any complaints about anybody but you. It's just you who needs to change, not everybody. Gordon then kind of corrects Joe on this and says, look, it's just you that needs to change. And he agrees that, okay, yeah, I need to 100% change. However, the staff aren't convinced by his words.
Do I think that he took it all in? No. Do I think he's gonna change? No. Do I think this is even gonna help at all? No.
Now, some people watching might think, you know, she's being negative there, but this is our only experience with Joe, and we already have a negative opinion on him. Imagine, like, working for him for years. Like, just hearing him say this, you're obviously just not going to believe him because you know who he is to his core. Like, you spend every single day with him. Do I think this is going to change anything? No. Would I like to see Joe burn in some flames? Yes. Now we're talking. Are you guys going to provide... No, that's not. Okay, that was just... I just asked myself that question, didn't I? Yeah. After this chat, Gordon then shows the staff and Joe, like, what somebody could buy for the price of one night of eating at the bistro. And it's like a full weekly shop with a bottle of wine on top of it, which just shows how overpriced this place is for the quality of the food. Gordon then gets to work creating some new dishes for the bistro to serve. And the first thing that he decides to make is a burger. And he asks Joe, like, you're a bistro. Why have you not got a burger on the menu? Like, every bistro has a burger. And he blames the staff, saying that the staff don't want to serve burgers to the customers. However, Gordon has stopped letting Joe get away with bullshit, so he actually goes to the staff and asks them if this is true.
He says, staff don't want to sell a $10 burger. Is that right? No. Every time I smell BS, I'm going to go for you.
That is just the worst way to revoke responsibility. Just say, oh, I just didn't fancy putting a burger on the menu. Then you're being honest and we can work from here. Blaming it on the wait and staff, like, they don't have a say in what's on the menu. You can't blame it on them. So they didn't want to serve a burger, but they're fine with serving the crap they have been serving. Make it make sense, Joe. Gordon then goes back to the kitchen and shows Joe how to cook some meals for the bistro that won't break the bank for the customers. customers. He then serves one of these dishes to the staff, and the staff say this is the best food that's ever left this kitchen. Bet Joe's buzzing about that comment. However, Joe himself also says the food is a lot better than what it was before, apart from the elk. The elk still takes the top spot, thank you very much. It's now time for the evening service, and they're going to be serving 2 of the dishes that Gordon has cooked up for them, so at this point, they're still serving things from the old menu as well. However, Gordon is helping with the new dishes, and he makes some interior changes to the kitchen straight away.
You're allowed to talk.
He's still trying to piss Joe off. You can tell he absolutely despises Joe. And to be fair, Joe definitely despises Gordon as well. Which makes me think, like, we're an hour into the total footage of this bistro right now. And they're still not on good terms. Like, in reality, they're still not really on speaking terms. Normally, within Kitchen Nightmares episodes, you know, they run for about 45 minutes, like 25 minutes in at the max. Like, they turn everything around and they're the best of friends. It's just so interesting that these two just keep butting heads and they can't build up a rapport together. The customers arrive and the first orders start coming in, and already it's too overwhelming for Joe to handle.
Lettuce, onions, burger, lettuce, sauce. Such a sauce. Lettuce, onions, burger, lettuce, sauce.
Can you just reiterate how to build this with me?
Just one more time, right? Just for good luck. Sorry, what? Lettuce burger, what? Wait, there's a burger in here. Well, there better be an elk one. Like, this should be very simple for someone that has been trained for years by old school European chefs. Like, he can't even make a burger. What person that is trained in the culinary arts for years can't make a fucking burger? Although the customers are receiving the food and they really do like it, Gordon has a go at Joe because the way he's organising the orders is just all wrong and it's making everything really confusing. However, when Gordon is trying to talk to Joe, he's just acting like Gordon's not there.
Joe, what are we doing? Why do we sell that then if we haven't sent the apple? Look at Joe, please. Joe, I'm talking to you.
He's like a child. Joe! 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 Like, how's he just ignoring her? There's 3 people in this kitchen, and he's one of them. So, you know, unless there's another Joe in here, which there's not, the other guy's called Tommy, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? This is so funny. Joe then eventually replies to Gordon after about another 40 seconds of Gordon saying Joe over and over. But when he does reply, they end up just having a bust up, and all of the staff agree that whenever Joe is in the kitchen, everything is 10 times worse.
How long have those young guests been waiting for that burger?
The order went in right around 6 o'clock.
An hour and a half.
Burgers.
An hour and a half to get their starters. Like an hour and a half to get the little baby cat. Them little baby carrots. To be fair, right, like they do have to go past the White House. Like the White House just ordered a big order of the baby carrots. Who's more important, some young kids or, you know, the President of the United States? So, riddle me that one, Gordon. And eventually, Gordon just, like, I want to say he gets sick of Joe, but I feel like he was getting sick of Joe within the first minute. And he has one of the biggest, like, lose it moments I've ever seen Gordon have on this show.
We need an elk quesadilla. That's really what I need. Hey, what's up? We make this crap.
I haven't got the appetite, Joe.
You wouldn't come over here and say, you know, don't get it that crispy or don't do that with it.
Like, this guy must be so draining to work for. Whenever he's confronted about something he's done wrong, he just blames. Like, everything, oh, it's this person's fault. Oh, it's this it's not my fault. Like, you own this restaurant. You're the head chef. The responsibility for food getting out of this kitchen solely lies with you at the end of the day. Like, everything is under your control. You can't just blame people. Like, you're not a child.
If a man that stands there and boasts about his fucking farm and his goats, and you want me to talk about this? Wake up, Joe.
Look at the veins in Gordon's neck. Look at the creases on his forehead. They're charging up. We're about to see a generational crash out right now.
Get rid of it.
You want me to get rid of it right fucking now and not
I won't. Stop asking such ridiculous questions.
Obviously, someone's ordered this. Obviously, don't get rid of it, because then, like, you're gonna have to take their order again, and then it's just like, how were you meant to explain that to the customer? Oh, sorry, like, the elk quesadilla is no longer on the menu as of 30 seconds ago. Joe just, he just covered it in his tea towel, unfortunately. Can we interest you in something else? How about something else with elk? Elk medallions? Elk in a paddling pool. We do elk with everything, really.
I'm asking for
fucking responsible.
I'm asking for fucking help.
Then wake up.
You wake up.
Oh, this is a generational 2-part Kitchen Nightmares episode. Wake up! You wake up! Okay, I guess we're both awake then. What now? Why would Gordon need to wake up? What's Gordon got to realise? You're the one with the failing business. It's just the fact that this kitchen has went from a you're not allowed to speak in here to like just the loudest voices that have ever been spoken ever. Just complete carnage.
Right, go then. Fuck off. Yeah, and take that shit with you.
Sorry, you've like kind of had your arse handed to you there. Like you own this place, you own the restaurant. You are the head chef in the kitchen and you've just been told to, you know, F off, and you actually have done that. You don't have a leg to stand on anymore, Joe. You've been bullied out of your own kitchen. I will admit again, like the way that Gordon is talking to Joe, I haven't seen him talk to anybody like this. I don't even feel like he talked to Amy's Bacon Company as aggressively for so long like he's talked to Joe. And that episode we did was mental. So again, I feel like Joe is warranted in the way he's replying, but like it's just he's not taking any of this on board and he's taking it as a personal attack. And he's acting so defensive and he's just made no progress. An hour into this footage, no progress has been made with Joe. And it just makes me think like when we do the update, I feel like this place is going to be closed. But we'll get onto that at the end. Now you'd think after this confrontation, Joe would just like take 5 outside, blow off some steam, just chill a little bit. However, he actually decides to go into the restaurant and vent to the customers about Gordon.
Saying that I'm a fraud. My elk is terrible, but he doesn't have an elk farm.
Brother, you are talking to customers who have ordered food at your restaurant saying that one of the best chefs in the world says my food is disgusting. Like, how is that going to make them feel? They're going to be like, should we just cancel that? Or, like, I don't know if I want to eat here anymore. Like, it's disgusting. He said it was disgusting, did he? Maybe he's just give this one a miss tonight. Why would you think the customers want to hear this? They don't want to hear this.
There's a difference between passion and assholism.
Passion. There's a difference between passion and assholism. Passion. I've got passion.
And he's got a double dose of assholism.
She's doing like the good guy smile there. Yeah. Just waiting for you to leave so they can call you a prick. He then goes outside and he's like speaking to someone and he's just lying to them about like how the conversation with Gordon went down and what he said to him.
I said, you're a narcissistic asshole. I said, you got 750 chefs that do your thinking.
You literally said none of that. You literally none of it. Unless it was off camera, I will give you that. We didn't see you say any of that. I'm going to rephrase that. He's just like a serial liar. Like he lies about everything and he's convinced by his own lies. I don't understand it. It's almost like he says them to himself so much before he speaks them that when he speaks them, he treats them like fact.
You would have to roll your tape back because he didn't kick me out of my kitchen. Get out!
I love the editors of this show. They're like, oh yeah, we agree. Let's just put the footage in there. He kicked you out. He got your balls and he went, they'll be coming with me on the pan. Bye-bye. To be fair, I would rather eat Joe's testicles than his elk. Actually, no, I went too far. That was one step too far. Gordon then sits down with Joe to talk about what has just went down between them.
I've been in hundreds, and I mean hundreds of kitchens across this country.
Chef, can I interject one thing? Tommy, he prepared a lot of those items. I'm not blaming him.
Joe! Stop blaming people. Like, honestly, it's actually pissing us off. I'd never get pissed off in these episodes. It's pissing me off. It's your fault. Or at least partially, or majoritively your fault. You're throwing people under the bus at every single opportunity. In every situation, it's always someone else's fault. Like, surely one of the times it's got to be yours. Gordon then stresses to Joe that he no longer can be in the kitchen, like, whatsoever. He can't be cooking in there because he just pisses everyone off and he's not good enough. He basically calls him useless, and you can see in Joe's face that this kind of, like, it actually really, really hurts him.
You cannot be in that kitchen.
And this reaction to me is like really sincere, because I think I've said this previously in this video, but I think Joe's dream is just to be like the head chef of a successful restaurant. And I know it's sad to say, but he's just not good enough. And like this moment right here, hopefully is that realization moment where he has to let people that are better than himself run it now. Because this restaurant is never going to be successful if he's the head chef. That's just a fact.
I realized it's not about me. It's about taking the restaurant to its potential.
Now, we heard that like half an hour ago, you know? Like, I don't really trust you anymore. You've like lost the trust of the audience here. Like, I don't feel like from an audience standpoint you're really rooting for him anymore. Like, usually you're rooting for the people to turn this around. I'm not really on his side. However, Gordon decides not to give up. He actually stays at the restaurant all night, creating a brand new menu for them to use moving forward. He unveils it the next day to Joe and all of the staff, and they love it, and this means that no longer are they going to be cooking anything from the previous menu. Like, he's wiped it all off. It's also really interesting and probably heartbreaking for Joe because Gordon doesn't actually do anything to make over the interior of this restaurant. Like, usually in Kitchen Nightmares episodes he spends like hundreds of thousands of pounds to like kind of renovate the place, and I don't know if it's because he's not convinced that the place is going to be open, or if it's because he doesn't like Joe, or if it really is because he doesn't feel like it needs a renovation. But Gordon doesn't want to spend money on this place, and there's a reason for that, and that doesn't happen in any of the episodes really, especially none of the ones we've covered, and it definitely reveals how Gordon really feels about Joe, in my opinion. It's just funny because imagine how gutted you would be, because you know in a Kitchen Nightmares episode eventually you're going to walk into a brand new restaurant and you're one of the only ones that doesn't get that. Oh, you'd be devastated, man. Joe then uses this moment to tell the rest of the staff that he no longer will be working as head chef, and they all seem buzzing about it. Gordon then also brings in his friend, who is apparently the head chef of the most successful restaurant in Ohio. He's going to be working here part-time as like an acting head chef, and he will also be employing a full-time head chef in the future for them. On the nighttime, they then run their first evening service with this new acting head chef, and everything goes really well. It just shows the power of having someone who is actually an expert in their field working as a position of head chef rather than someone that's just pretending. And also Joe is actually working really well and actually being productive now he's outside of the kitchen. Like, he's actually helping out and not stressing people out. However, it's almost like he gets too overconfident and then he tries to step in and do more and just messes everything up.
We're a little bit early with your food.
Joe, when you took out that pot pie and the walleye, where'd you take it to?
21.
No, you didn't. You don't have their food.
Let's check.
So he's given the food to the wrong table. And the worst part was as well, like, they haven't even finished their starters and he just put the main down. Like, surely the time management is better where once the starters come back, you bring the main straight out. Like, just putting the mains right next to the starter, if it's not like a tapas kind of vibe, it's just like, it just feels like you're getting rushed a little bit. And it's definitely not fine dining.
For him to mess up was kind of entertaining. You know, he screams and yells at us for making these small little mistakes. Well, he took a wrong table.
Oh. The worst part about it is he just wants to now give this food to the table it was actually like meant to be for. But that's been in front of other people. Like, I wouldn't want my meal to have been on a table for like 5 or 10 minutes with other people. Like, you don't know if they've picked off it or whatever. And that's what the head chef says. He's like, we're not serving this to like customers. We have to cook a brand new couple of meals here. And it just shows that actually Joe's like standards aren't that high. They're actually really on the floor. Like, the head chef standards are the standards that should be kind of used here. However, when Joe steps back again, the service actually goes incredibly, and this is arguably the best night that the Bistro's ever had. Gordon actually praises the staff and Joe for how well they actually coped with the brand new menu tonight.
When Joe starts to step backwards into his old comfort zone, you need to stand up to him.
I promise that I won't go into the kitchen, okay?
Now, in the update, you're going to see how, again, we just can't trust what Joe says. Just a side note, one thing that is really nice that Gordon reveals is every single person that was dining at the restaurant tonight is actually a survivor of cancer. Gordon previously in this episode went to like a fundraiser for at a cancer event, and he invited everyone to come, and like they all find this out like after the service and they started crying. It was just a little bit of a nice moment. After this, Gordon then has one final chat with Joe before he leaves for good, and it seems like they leave on good terms, kind of.
Man, your hard work.
That's what you signed up for.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, I don't think them two are ever going to speak ever again. When Gordon goes out to do like the final interview to close the double-parted episode up, he says that this was the worst episode of Kitchen Nightmares he's ever filmed, like the most frustrating one, the one that he wanted to quit more than any other time, which is a massive statement and kind of shows how hard it must have been to like just stick with this one. However, he says that he he's not confident that Joe can keep this place open long term. Now, Gordon never really does that usually. Usually he tries to end it on like a happy note, like as part of the storyline. We do end up getting a short-term update, and it doesn't seem like the place is doing that well, in my opinion.
See you again.
Joe has kept the majority of Chef Ramsay's menu.
The majority. I don't feel like Joe's ego could handle like all of his food not being on the menu. He had to have a couple of recipes that are his. Them quesadillas are definitely back.
Jen, Kaylee, Tommy, and Rebecca are gone. But Amy, Bill, and Mike remain at the restaurant.
I find that so interesting because it's all of the people that voiced their opinions about him are gone, really, apart from Amy, but Amy's kind of like the head, like front of house waitress. Everyone else is gone who voiced their opinion. That is so interesting.
Joe is back as head chef.
That's how we do it, man.
And the future of Mill Street Bistro is questionable.
Why? You promised! You promised! Why are you back in the kitchen? Oh, you absolute tool, man! You tool in a toolbox. Now we're going to get into the update of like what actually happened after Gordon Ramsay left, because I know that's what you're all kind of intrigued by. And I've found a lot, so don't worry. So just for context, this episode was filmed in March 2013. And like it said in the short-term update on the show, Chef Tommy actually left as soon as Gordon Ramsay stopped filming. So it was almost like, look, I'll be here for the TV show and then I'm literally out of here. I can't handle this anymore. One interesting thing that happened a year after Gordon left was the restaurant actually rebranded its entire name. It changed its name from the Mill Street Bistro to Maple City Tavern. Now, I'm not sure if this is because of the negative press that the previous name got. Maybe Joe just kind of wanted to get away from that kind of brand image. I actually found the reviews for the restaurant after it went through the rebrand, and honestly, they're shocking. Like, look at the quantity of 1-star to 5-star here. Bland, overpriced food, service was horrible due to management being clueless. With regards to leadership, which was the first issue that Gordon faced when he literally went there, shows no progress, even after a rebrand. The absolute worst experience I have ever had, not to mention the owner is extremely loud and yelling at staff during dinner service. Clearly that didn't change. Shame, changed name doesn't mean anything. Glad it's gone, the servers were treated bad, and you don't mess up. So clearly, you know, this place just went even more downhill after Gordon left. Joe didn't stick to any of his promises. He just literally said that for the camera. Like, I wasn't convinced he was going to stick with them, if I'm honest. Now, it probably doesn't surprise you that the restaurant is no longer open today. The restaurant permanently shut its doors in 2016. Apparently, Joe put the building up for sale for $379,000. But he only received $140,000, so I imagine he just wanted a quick sale and was probably in huge amounts of debt because of the unsuccessfulness of the business. One interesting thing that I found was Joe actually sued Kitchen Nightmares and Gordon Ramsay. Apparently he sued them for damages to the restaurant, which he later settled with a £900 compensation, so he actually won the case against Gordon. I say he won the case. Gordon was probably like, what, I can give him £900, which I probably would spend on lawyers to go through this entire case, just give him the compensation if he wants it. And I think again, this is another kind of tactic from Joe to try and one-up Gordon, say to himself that, I beat Gordon Ramsay. Honestly, I feel like this is just feeding into his ego. For him to file an entire lawsuit for the sake of £900 when he's received hundreds of thousands of pounds from selling the business, it doesn't really fit in my mind, if I'm being honest. Now, you're probably wondering, what is Joe himself doing today? Well, there's not actually a clear update from any social media pages. He doesn't have any at all. Probably rightly so, because people would be sending him a lot of hate, unfortunately. Even though he was a prick in here, he doesn't deserve to receive hate 10 years later. However, he has been cited a lot in the area, and he apparently now owns a food truck van. Last anyone on here seems to know for sure is he has a food truck that sells elk burgers out at food festivals. Of course it is! Fucking elk burgers! If you want to spot this guy in real life, just try and find an elk, and then if you find an elk, you'll find Joe. They just have this kind of chemistry. At all times, I don't think he can be a mile out of an elk's radius. He always needs to be, next to some form of an elk. Various people have said they've seen him at food festivals, selling his elk. So I imagine that probably is just the life for him. It's a lot less stressful than, having a full-on restaurant, just him alone in his van with his elk. That's probably the best place for him, I'm afraid. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, Donuts. I know it was a bit of a longer one, but I really enjoy doing deep dives into especially bumper episodes like this one. If you do want want to watch a previous episode that we have covered, click this one here. We've done like 4 Kitchen Nightmares episodes now, so you can go and binge watch them. Honestly, we always do mental ones, so I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching, Donuts, and I'll see you in the next one.